This is Tyrone with God Is, an inspiration of gospel music, also on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. We give out free food each and every Saturday from 11 to 2. And so we want you to come on out and support us. We love on your community. And we also have a fish fry once a month. We want to raise funds, put back into the community. And so come on, support us. We need your love. And also, if you want to be connected with us, go to Rainier Avenue Radio.world, to the website, Facebook, Instagram, and God Is. And as God Is got a website, we need your help, community. So come on out and get your free food each and every Saturday it is. And so we asking for donation, whatever you feel to give from your heart to the mind. And as we doing it right here for you, go to our website and touch love and give back. And so come on by 810 23rd Avenue, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, your community radio station and inspiration of all the things we do in your community.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Atlantic Street Center has been serving the children, youth, and families of the Seattle-King County area since 1910. We partner with families and communities to raise healthy, successful children and youth through services including counseling, early learning, youth development, domestic violence, and education support for school-aged children. Committed to serving the African-American community, Atlantic Street Center provides services and support for all marginalized people. Learn more at AtlanticStreetCenter.org.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
I love that sound. Hello there, world. Bettina, Carey here, and I'm the founder and CEO of the We Empower You community and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com website. And your host today, you're listening to Shatter Your Glass Ceilings. And I am so excited to be welcoming today a really great author, speaker, and coach, Miss Lori Tsugawa Whaley. She's going to be talking to us today about Ikigai, which I'll explain here in a bit. She's a featured author on our We Empower You summits, and her book that she wrote is called Let the Samurai Be Your Guide, the Seven Bushido Pathways to Personal Success. Her topic today is Discover Your Japanese Path to Purpose. That's Ikigai. Ikigai is the concept of meaning, worth, and purpose to one's life, originating in Okinawa, Japan. It is a reason for being and the thing that gets you up in the morning. A long-held part of the Okinawan culture, it is considered one of the reasons behind their ability to live an unusually long life. Let's discover their secret. But before we get started, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about Lori. And she is a third-generation Japanese American and a descendant of the samurai warrior. Lori Tsugawa Whaley is an inspirational speaker on a mission to empower others to reach their God-given potential, no matter their path, no matter their heritage, or any circumstance whatsoever. Whether she is inspiring prison inmates at the local correctional facility to create better lives, empowering women business owners at one of our We Empower You summits and other conferences to honor financial resources and other things that she empowers, she is on a movement to empower you. Lori Tsugawa Whaley captivates attention and compels listeners to live inspired, purposeful lives and to be contributing to our society here, far beyond the day-to-day realities of commerce. And having grown up predominantly in by Caucasian farming community, she actually struggled a little bit, and we're going to dive deep into her struggle as we welcome her to the stage. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Lori. It's so great to have you.
Well, thank you.
You made it.
Yes, thank you.
How perfect is that? So, Lori, you came up as a Japanese young girl and now woman, and the beginnings were not so Great. Tell us a little bit about what occurred for you as you were growing up as Japanese in the Caucasian world that you grew up in.
Great. Well, thank you, Bettina. It's an honor to be here. Well, when I was 9, I grew up in a Caucasian society, and I didn't know I was different until the school bully tripped me, punched me in the gut, and said, "You're a fat, ugly Jap." And I wanted nothing to do with my heritage after that. I pretty much dismissed that until 2005 and 2007 when I was rear-ended twice, and I was totally messed up. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't read. In fact, I was reading at a 7th grade level, and I went to over 1,000 appointments in order to get better. Then I decided to go back into my Japanese heritage and realized that the samurai lived by a code of ethics called Bushido, and that's what helped me get through.
Recording in progress.
That's what helped me get through.
Recording stopped.
Technical stuff going on here.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes, that's good. You're good.
Okay. This won't stay. Okay. And I decided to start studying into that. And then also I went to the Jidai Matsuri. I went to Japan and found out a little bit about our heritage. And I kind of put that aside, and then I started diving back into it once I had traumatic brain injury, suffering quite a bit of loss, over 1,000 appointments to get better. But I was determined to get better because I didn't want to read at a 7th grade level and be in chronic pain. So I set a goal to write a book, and the book was about the Code of Bushido and how it helped the samurai and the samurai descendant. And in researching, I found out that our family crest was one of the 5 main samurai crests of feudal Japan.
That was your inspiration, right? To
it was my inspiration
from
yes.
your injury, and also to get back some of what you'd lost. Of course, you're now not reading at an 8th grade reading level, which is fantastic. No. And your book is really fantastic too. Tell us a little bit more about your book and the journey to write it.
Well, the journey took a long time, about 6 years. And I determined to get better and just work forward. It's called Gambaru. Try your hardest, do your best, never give up, and go for broke. And those four things are what made my determination to do it. And so I'm further researching. I found out that our family crest was one of the 5 main samurai crests of feudal Japan. So I knew that the DNA of the samurai warrior was in me.
Yes, and you've been able to go back. When you went back, that's when you really started to discover your Japanese heritage.
Then the possible risk you have. Integrity is doing the right thing all the time. And it's just doing the right thing. Do what is right. Benevolence is that heart to be compassionate. Respect is the Japanese is so. It's very important in their society because respect, there are certain ways to bow. There's a certain amount of time that one would bow. Mm-hmm. And honesty is one of their main one of the main things of Japanese. The first time the child would go to the police station would be to find a coin and go to the police station and give it to them. So they realize that the samurai or the policemen are their friends. Then honesty, honor is good name. That is so important. You do not give up anything for your family name, because if you lose your family name, you've lost your honor, and that's the worst thing that could happen in the Japanese society. And then loyalty is being loyal and never give. It's like the dog. You never give up. You are always there. You're always loyal. And those are the 7 principles. So there's 7 principles and 7 words. And I say, do the right thing all the time. That is what the samurais do. Do the right thing all the time.
Now share with us, what does Ikigai mean? And
you're
going to be launching. Yes, we're going to be launching a program this October that folks can step into, and this is an ongoing coaching program that you've developed based on Ikigai.
Ikigai is like the French say, your reason for being. and it's the Japanese pathway to find your reason for living. And that's what Ikigai is. But Ikigai is Iki and Gai, and it's your pathway to peace. There's 4 things that that Ikigai actually. And what I love about it, I first should go back a little bit. What I loved about it was because that was one of the principles I wanted to teach in my coaching, but I didn't want it to be just generic, like find your purpose, find your life, know your meaning. And that's when I found Ikigai, and I was so excited. I go, okay, I'm ready to start my program, because I wanted it to be find your reason for living, and the principles of the samurai. And the last one is Ganbaru, not to give up. Ikigai is that it's what gets you up in the morning. Most people don't know why they get up in the morning, or they may be very successful, but they may not be satisfied. This might not be their purpose for living. I've known people that have had very successful careers, but they said, it's not really what I want to do. And I find that very sad to do. But Ikigai is what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So it's a Venn diagram. And when you get all 4 of those together, that is your Ikigai.
Oh,
and
great.
I have a wonderful diagram and printout that I would love to email anybody. And actually person can join my samurai community on Facebook. I would love to have anybody there, because we talk about that. And the Ikigai is what makes a person what they're good at, their reason for being. Mm-hmm. And there are 5 places in the world. It's called the Blue Zone. And one of them, Sardinia, Italy. The other one is Loma Linda, California, Okinawa, Japan, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, and Carey, Greece. And those are all kind of around the equator, but what they all have in common is diet, community, and what they eat. And the Japanese say, eat your vegetables. Loma Linda is faith, and they eat healthy. Ikari is to be well-rounded, and Nicoya is to have purpose, and Sardinia is to have different rhythms, exercise, and take no medication, which I find interesting. A community that would have a very high rate of living. A lot of centenarians in the world don't take medication. So I find that quite interesting.
That's where I'm headed. I am a no medication gal, and I also lean into living beyond 100 years because I know it's possible. I'm on a mission. I'm on a vision. I wake up every day, I don't even drink coffee, and I just go. And I must have some Ikigai in me. Right? So you've got this coaching program. Tell us a little bit about how the coaching program is going to unfold this October.
Okay, well, right now I have a landing page, which I would love to share with people. And I didn't put that in the chat, but I could, let's see, should I do that right now?
It's your website, LoriSugawWhaley.com. And then where do they click on that?
Oh, it's LoriWhaley.com.
LoriWhaley.com.
LoriWhaley.com. Yes, just go to LoriWhaley.com and put your email and your name in there, and I will send you all the information and send you the landing page. It's going to be really exciting because I've done coaching, and I'm also I'm a certified an HNLP coach.
And what does that stand for?
Humanistic Neurolinguistic Programming.
Fantastic. So we're now showing up your site at LoriWhaley.com. Where would folks click into to find out about the coaching program? And then, of course, you can explain it a little bit for our audience that's listening and watching.
Okay. Right on the right-hand side, you see the name. So just put your name there and your email address, and then submit. And then I will get in touch with you and tell you all about the coaching program, which I'm very excited because I've wanted to do coaching, and I wanted to do group coaching, but it just wasn't complete until I found Ikigai. And so that's why I'm very excited to share it with all of the audience, that Ikigai was almost made it complete for me.
So who would be interested in going through a program like yours?
I believe that anybody that would like to have a deeper meaning of themselves and a more understanding, and to be able to not only help themselves, the stronger and the more rounded a person is, the more that they can help other people.
So like everybody, right?
Like everybody.
And especially now, what I've discovered, since COVID, is that folks are really diving into a deeper and more meaningful question about why are they here? If it's not, to do the job that they learned to do, or to go to this, get the education that they were getting and work in a particular field, what is it? What is their bigger vision? What is their bigger purpose? So give us a little bit of the lay of the land on how this group is structured, and how many people will you host, and how many weeks will it entail?
Oh, it's going to be 5 months. It's going to be every other Wednesday starting October 20th, and it'll go until March 2nd, I believe. And everything will be pre-recorded. It'll be a Zoom call, and about an hour, a little, maybe hour and a half if there are questions. And that's what we'll do. There'll be time for discussion, for me to do some discussion, and then time for question, and there'll be time for breakouts. There'll be time to center more on some of the personal issues, personal situations, and that I always want people to come together. And being a facilitator at Purdy, I learned that you cannot show favorites. And there'll be no favorites in this class. Everybody will have a chance to speak, and if they don't, I would call on them, and they can pass. But I really want this to be participation, because that's how people grow, is when you speak and you share and you learn. Everything is so, it's all well-rounded. I believe it's not just listening and taking notes, because
Yes, absolutely.
but that's one part of your brain. But then you also have the speaking. You also have everything is discussion. So and reading. So it'll be very well rounded, because I learned, not only did I teach in the prison, I also homeschooled my children, and you have to engage all of the senses. And so if someone isn't visual, and maybe they're kinesthetic, or maybe they're audio, so we will be doing everything.
Yes, and this is all virtual, so anybody can participate. What time of the day are you going to be doing this?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. 4:00.
4:00. And which day of the week again?
PM. Wednesday. The first one will be October 20th.
Okay, great. Well, I'm really excited to learn more about your program and to share with folks a little bit more about you. So I've known you for about a couple of years solidly. I think we go back a little further as just colleagues, but the last couple of years we've been working more intimately together on your coaching business and practice, as well as your website. And so you're also a member of the We Empower You community. Give a little bit of your take on what you've gotten out of the We Empower You world.
Well, it's really interesting. Before, with you and Lee, you've just opened up a whole new world about the internet and how you can use it to your advantage and not have it bully you around. You will start becoming more, take control. And then the website is, I'm way up on the top of some searches. So I'm very excited about that. I like being around like-minded people. I like being around people who are forward-thinking, and they're always thinking about solutions rather than ruminate about problems, because we have enough of that in the world.
Yes, and you're part of a bigger community, right? So
yes, I am.
There you go. We have our meetings on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. every Wednesday. And then, of course, we have our quarterly summit. You're one of our speakers for our quarterly summits as well. You do typically a breakout session. This last one that you did on September the 8th was Ikigai. So folks got a chance to check you out there. And we do record everything so that folks can, come back and watch again and tap into you. So, Lori, you just returning back to your story. So there was some struggle there to recover from these brain injuries that you experienced from the 2 car accidents. And you had some vision and mission and intentions of your own. Can you explore with us where you're going in the next a year to 2? with your book, your coaching, the practice that you're developing, so that folks can hear a little bit more about you?
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, of course, I love speaking. That's one of my main things. I've been selected to be a Humanities Washington speaker for 21-23, and this is available to all nonprofits. They can hire me, and I will come. Usually, it's going to be virtual. All of them so far have been virtual. A few have been in person, but it's wonderful because in virtual, people from around the country and actually around the country can watch. That's what I love about the virtual thing now. And one lady said that she's going to schedule me for the spring. So they've had up to 500 people in on their webinars. And so I think that's wonderful, because if you go in person, you can only reach so many people, and that's great. But if you can do 1 hour talk and reach 500 people, that's amazing.
Yes, and you're going to take folks to tour Japan, right? That's your ultimate goal?
That is my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to have a mastermind and then end up in going to Japan. But realistically, I don't know when Japan is going to be open. And it saddens a lot of us. Especially in my samurai community, we talk about Japan and we reminisce and have pictures. We do show pictures, and I show a lot of pictures of places we've gone, because my husband and I have been there, I think 8 times, and I've been there 9 times. And our pictures are we visit very unusual places. Of course, we went to Tokyo and Kyoto, but we've been to a lot of places where sometimes we're the only foreigners in the whole village. And so it's very interesting. Or sometimes the events that we've been to, we've been one of very few foreigners in attendance. So that's what so then you know that you're going to the places where the Japanese visit, not just everybody. And I know Japan pretty well, I believe, and I could speak enough Japanese to take people to Japan. And being Japanese, I understand the culture, and I understand how to act when you're in Japan, because I saw a lot of people in Japan that were not acting very properly, and that is so important in the Japanese culture, is to be respectful, and you don't want to do things that are going to be disrespectful to the Japanese or offend them. They'll never show it to your face, but you'll know. You know if you've done something wrong.
Right. Oh, mea culpa. It's like, forgive me. So I'm excited to be working with you to develop your program and to have you be a member of the We Empower You community. Can you give us another, say, a success principle that you'll be covering in your coaching program?
I covered Ikigai a little bit. Gambaru I added that in my book, even though it's not one of the samurai principles. That's try your hardest, never give up, go for broke, and
do your best.
Do your best, yes. And in fact, that's the last slide in my slide deck. I believe Daniel has that.
Yes.
Never give up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. And that's what my mother taught us. She would not let us give up, no matter what. She wouldn't let us give up. When you say, oh, I can't do it. Oh, she goes, oh, what about this? Do this, do that, do the other thing. She'd always say that to us, and she would never let us give up. And she actually demonstrated that in her own life when she opened a nursery in 1980, right after the Mountain Blue, and no one knew. Everyone thought she was crazy because everything was covered with ash, and it didn't look hopeful. And she thought all she had to do was go down there and be pretty. But she did canvas nurseries and had a nice selection. But one day, the only thing that she sold in the first week was one only geranium. That's all she sold. And she felt like quitting and crying, but she knew she couldn't, because that was against the samurai honor. And that's she taught me so much about how never to give up. There's always a way. And that's what the samurai, to me, demonstrated in all their principles. They never gave up. They would always do it because of their honor and their reputation and their respect, and how it would affect not only them, but their community, their lord, their master.
Yeah.
And so Gambaru is one thing that I believe kind of the overarching thing of everything else, because having the principles is great. Courage, integrity, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty. Those are all wonderful principles, but they are not only for the samurai, but I believe code of honor for a lot of people, a lot of warriors. But the samurai had their own code. And so that is what they live by. And then also the Ikigai is to know your purpose. Once you know your purpose, you could be unstoppable, because everybody's purpose is different, and it may not be the same, and it may not be as quote unquote we think as successful, but that your purpose is that missing piece. We're all piece of the puzzle, and everybody has their own contribution to this world, and nobody's, even though it may be more important, say stature, like the president of the United States, but everybody's piece is important. Like you were a nurse, you were an important piece of the healthcare system. And if people in the healthcare system, even if it's the lonely janitor, if he doesn't do his job and people get sick from staff, that could be something else. Or is it CNA? CNN?
Yeah, CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant. I was one of those before I was a nurse, in fact. Well, when the chips are down, gambaru, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's been so wonderful to have you here today. Our time is up, and I'm so glad that we got to fit you in here in our schedule. Our next show coming up here on Rainier Avenue Radio is God is Inspiration. Tune in to watch us every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. We look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina, Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering them to break through. No, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community. It's a membership. It's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.
Did the line come off mute?
Yes.
Okay.